Welcome back to BioMindscape. In this chapter of biodiversity and conservation, we are going to know what is biodiversity and the levels of biological organization. The most important of them, which we are going to know, is genetic, species, and ecological diversity. So, let's begin the NCERT chapter of biological diversity. What is biodiversity and conservation? In a biosphere, there is immense diversity or heterogeneity. Now, what is an heterogeneity? Which exists not only at a species level but at all level of biological organization that ranges from the macromolecule within a cell to a biome. So, biodiversity is a term popularized by sociobiologists. Can you name the sociobiologist who have given this term of biodiversity? Yes, it is Edward Wilson, who described the combination of diversity at various levels of biological organization. First is genetic diversity. What happens in genetic diversity? A single species that might show higher diversity at genetic level over its distribution ranges. So genetic diversity, it can be shown by an example of a medicinal plant. Can you name this plant? Yes, Rauwolfia vomitoria. It is growing in different Himalayan ranges and it might be in terms of the potency and concentration of the active chemicals. Now we have to learn this chemical. This is important one, that is Reserpine that the plant is producing. So India has more than 50,000 genetic different strains of rice and 1,000 variety of mango. What is species diversity? The diversity at a species level. For example, Western Ghats have a greater amphibian species diversity than that of the Eastern Ghats. And ecological diversity. At the ecosystem level, India, for instance, with its desert, rainforest, mangroves, coral reef, wetlands, estuaria, and alpine meadows, have a great ecosystem diversity than in Norway. Now we have to learn what are the various diversity. These are the most important of them that is important for an examination point of view, that is genetic, species and ecological diversity. It has taken millions of years for this evolution to accumulate this rich diversity nature, and we could lose all the wealth in less than 2 centuries if the present rate of the species is losing continuously. So biodiversity and its conservation is now a vital economic environmental issues of international concern, and it is more and more about the people around the world which begin to realize the critical importance of biodiversity for our survival and well-being on this planet. So how many species are there in the world? The species described so far, they are according to IUCN, the 2024 record. It is approximately 1.5 million species of plant and animal that have been identified and described, and this is only known biodiversity, not the total. And why total species cannot be counted exactly? Because many species are still to be discovered, especially the tropical forest, ocean, and microorganism. The species record are better in temperature region than the tropical region. So how do scientists estimate the total species? They study the well-known group like insect. They compare that versus the tropical species richness. Then extrapolate data to other groups. Estimated total species on the earth. What is the estimated total species on the earth? That is a number like 20 to 50 millions. They are extremely estimated and most accepted, that is by Robert May, that is approximately 7 million species. So total species on earth is approximately 7 million. So how many species are there in India? India is about 1.5 lakh of species recorded. The total species in India is approximately 1.5 lakh, and the percentage of the world biodiversity is 8.1%, and India's land total area is 2.4% of the world land. So what is important here? India is 8% of the global biodiversity but only 2.4% of the land area. So what is important in biodiversity pattern from this figure? That is, the invertebrate are greater than the vertebrate. Means out of the 10 animals, there are only 7 that these are insect. Whereas the plants, angiosperm dominating the plants, and mosses, fern and algae, the other small portion. Then fungi, the number of fungal species is greater than the total of fishes, amphibians, reptile, birds, mammals combination. So, about 1.5 million species have been described so far worldwide. However, the total number of species on Earth is unknown, and it is estimated ranges from 20 to 50 million. But the significantly accepted estimated by Robert May that is placed in the global species diversity at around 7 million. So, India is about 1.5 lakh recorded species that represent nearly 8.1% of the global diversity, despite occupying only 2.4% of the world's land area. Thanks for watching. Do like, share and subscribe.